I chose to do my Pecha Kucha on stress because I find myself stressing very often, and for many different reasons. There are several different types of stress: physical, social, academic, family, time management, and change. The sources of my stress are often academic, family, and change.
I remember when I received my acceptance letter for LaSalle and discovered that I was offered a full scholarship. As long as I maintained a 3.7 and above, my tuition would be covered. My GPA in middle school was always above that, so it wasn't a big deal. However, high school classes are much harder. Sometimes I'll get stressed about a difficult test or essay, fearing that if I do poorly, my GPA will drop. Finals cause me so much stress. The fact that they're worth so much of my grade makes me incredibly anxious. Trying to cram in so much information into memory can be counterproductive, as you remember less when you're stressed. Group finals can be equally better and worse. Better in that there are more people to split up the work, and worse that if one person doesn't do anything, the rest of the group members have to pick up the slack. Along with academic stress, I also suffer from time management stress. I have a long history of being a procrastinator, and this can result in negative stress. I usually put off assignments until they're almost due, and then I realize they're far more difficult than I had imagined. I get very stressed the night before something is due, usually going to bed far later than I should. I've always had at least a little stress from my family. When I was 6 or so, my parents divorced. Ever since then, I've been traveling back and forth. While most things to come with a divorce have been good, like having siblings and an extended family, it's always a little stressful to change my location every week. I have to pack my electronics, uniforms, and anything else I want with me. The situations that I go between have also changed over the years. My mom remarried a few years after the divorce, and I became a middle child. I would go between a party of 5 and just my dad and me. However, things recently changed. My dad and I moved in with his girlfriend, who has 3 kids of her own. I also recently moved out of my stepdad's with my mom. All of these changes can be very stressful for me. I have many ways I relieve stress. One way is by listening to music. I usually listen to music while I work, which helps me cut out any outside sounds and enjoy what I'm doing. While I normally listen to rock, when I really need to concentrate, I'll listen to piano music. That always calms me down and eliminates any distractions. Another way I eliminate stress is by playing video games. My dad's a big gamer, and I've been playing ever since I was very little. There's so many different types of video games, so I can always find something to do. I've roamed the Wild West, hunted for mammoths, caught and collected creatures, and battled mighty warriors from all over the world. I love video games because they never fail to transport me to another place. My pets have always been a great reliever of stress. At my mom's I have Kubia and Eve. Kubia is a 12-year-old pit bull we've had since I was a kid. Eve is my little mischievous kitty we got at the beginning of the year. At my dad's we have Portia, a pit bull puppy we got on Valentine's Day. Each one has their own unique personality and can always make me smile. Whenever I'm really stressed, I like to watch videos on YouTube. There's so many clever and funny creators that I can usually find something that makes me smile within seconds. I also have YouTube Red, which gets rid of commercials and allows me to watch exclusive shows. I end up watching more YouTube than TV these days, mainly because most of my favorite shows are off air right now. One of the most recommended ways to relieve stress is by writing. I can agree fully with this statement. I've always loved creating stories, and a couple of years ago I decided to start writing these stories down. I instantly fell in love with it. There's something so special about figuring out how to put something in your head into words. None of my stories have been very long, but I've written over 150 pages overall. Beyond stories, I use writing to assess my emotions. When something troubles me, I will write about the topic, usually as a written form of my thought process. Once I have finished, I'll usually read what I wrote and fix any grammatical errors. From there I can decide what to do about this topic. If I was writing about something that makes me sad, I often feel better after writing about it. Stress in teenagers is a very common occurrence. It can cause anxiety, withdrawal, aggression, or chronic worry. Scientists have determined that girls tend to stress more than boys do, and each gender uses different coping methods. Unfortunately, many teenagers who are unable to cope end up using drugs and alcohol. I was surprised to realize that many of my coping methods are similar to those of the normal male teenager. Scientists have found that they will often avoid what causes them stress by playing video games, listening to music, or hanging out with friends. These methods are entirely unhealthy but can lead to more stress later down the line, which I know from experience. Typical female teenager will cope with stress by seeking out friends and family and discussing what troubles them. This way they can work to solve what is causing them problems. I do something similar when I write. This more proactive way of dealing with stress means that while they technically have more stress, girls handle it better than boys. There are some dysfunctional methods of coping that some teenagers use. Boys may turn to alcohol, drugs, and reckless behavior when under serious stress. Girls could use these methods as well, but they can also develop eating disorders and even engage in cutting, which is when a sharp object is used to make light cuts in the arm. One needs to have a healthy body and mind to handle stress. The best way to accomplish this is taking care of yourself. Getting to bed on time, eating healthy, and exercising are all ways to keep a healthy body. Meditation and breathing exercises are excellent ways to maintain a sound mind. There are actually effective homeopathic methods to reduce stress. Two medicines that I have taken in the past are Formula 303s and Minchex. They are both non-addictive, and I can take as many as I need. I usually take 2 of them and feel much better after a while. These medicines have helped me finish many homework assignments. There are many stress-related illnesses. Stress can directly increase your heart rate and blood flow, which can lead to heart disease. It's been proven that stress also worsens asthma. Few other illnesses related to stress are Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, accelerated aging, and premature death. Stress is something everyone experiences. Most people can agree that the teenage years are a difficult time. This is when we are first exposed to serious stress and learn how to deal with it. Teens should search for and nurture healthy relationships. They should also find reasonable and productive methods of stress relief. With these 2 things, stress can be effectively handled.